In Unit 3, we have three different objectives. The first one and the second one are together. Evaluations with nouns and adjectives, and comparisons of equality. And in the second part of this unit, we will study how to express present wishes. To start with this unit, think about these questions. If you want, take some time to write the answers in your notebook or a piece of paper. 1. Do you live in a house or an apartment? 2. Is your home spacious? Is it big? 3. How many people live in your house? 4. Do you have a pet at home? Do you have a cat or a dog or birds? 5. Do your parents own the house or do you have to pay rent for it? Now let's go to your book. On Unit 3, you see the title, Making Changes. Exercise 1 starts with a vocabulary exercise. These words are used to describe houses and apartments. Which are positive and which are negative? Write P or N next to each adjective in your book. Pause this video and take 2 minutes to answer these in your book. Here are the answers. The positives could be bright, comfortable, convenient. Huge could be positive if you like big houses. Modern, private, quiet, safe. Small in case you like small houses. And spacious. And the negatives: cramped, dangerous, dark, dingy, expensive, inconvenient, noisy, run down, and small if you don't like small spaces. Now, use these words to write a description of your house or your apartment, the place where you live. What's it like?
Unit 3, Making Changes. Page 16, Exercise 2, Perspectives. How's your new apartment? Part A. Listen to a family talk about their new apartment. Which opinions are about the building or the neighborhood? Which are about the apartment?
I don't like living in an apartment. We don't have as much privacy as we had in our old place.
I just can't sleep at night. The neighbors make too much noise. The building isn't as quiet as our old one.
The new apartment is too dark and too hot. There aren't enough windows.
Our new apartment isn't big enough for our family. We don't have a big kitchen anymore, so cooking is difficult.
The location is just as convenient as the old one, but there aren't as many good restaurants around.
Now, think about similar problems that you have in your house. Write sentences in your notebook. The grammar focus in your book presents how to form evaluation and comparisons. Please pay attention and read in your book.
Page 17, Exercise 3, Grammar Focus. Evaluations and comparisons. Evaluations with adjectives.
Our apartment isn't big enough for our family.
This apartment is too hot.
Evaluations with nouns.
There aren't enough windows.
The neighbors make too much noise.
Comparisons with adjectives.
The building isn't as quiet as our old one.
The location is just as convenient as the old one.
Comparisons with nouns.
We don't have as many bedrooms as we used to.
We don't have as much privacy as we had.
We use the words to and enough to make evaluations. We use to plus adjectives in affirmative statements to express usually negative characteristics. For example, it's too old, it's too cramped, it's too ugly. And we can use combinations of to with the quantifiers, too much or too many. We use too much plus noun with singular nouns. For example, there is too much noise, or we have too much space in our bedroom. We use too many plus nouns with plurals. There are too many windows. My mom has too many flowers. Remember, uncountable nouns are always singular. For example, space, noise, traffic, pollution or contamination, etc. With enough. We use enough plus noun in negative statements. Check the order of the words. We don't have enough space to dance in this room, or there aren't enough computers in the house. First enough, and after the object. We use adjective plus enough in negative statements. For example, this room isn't spacious enough, or their school is not modern enough. First the adjective, then enough. First enough, then the noun. Let's work with an exercise. Unscramble the statements and write them in the correct order in your notebook. Take some time to copy this exercise and pause the video if you need to. Here are the scrambled statements. We don't have enough televisions in my family. The internet connection in my apartment is too slow. There are too many pictures on my walls. These plants are not colorful enough. My brother doesn't have enough free time. There's too much noise in my neighborhood. My bedroom is too dark. I need more light. There aren't enough parking spaces in the garage. The rent of the new house is not cheap enough for us. You will find too much traffic in the morning. Now, let's see how we make comparisons of equality. The easiest is to use an adjective between the prepositions as and as. For example, this apartment is as spacious as my house. Our dog is not as lazy as your cat. But we can also have nouns in singular or plural. In New York City, there is as much crime as in Mexico City. Crime is singular, so we use as much. And plurals. My mom has as many plants as Mrs. Smith. Use as much as with singulars and as many as with plurals. Let's go with this exercise. Use the words in parentheses and a comparison of equality, that is, as much as, or as many as. Take some minutes to copy this in your notebook and complete the statements. Here are the correct answers. Beethoven was as famous as Mozart. Classical music is not as exciting as rock music. Today, there is as much sun as there was yesterday. This neighborhood has as much garbage as my old hometown. In the network laboratory, there are as many computers as in the software laboratory. And we don't have as many cars as the Sanchez family. Now, let's go to the exercise in your book. Imagine you are looking for a house or an apartment to rent. Read the two ads in your book, and then rewrite the opinions using the words in parentheses. You have one example in your book. Take a couple of minutes and pause this video to write the sentences in your notebook. Here are the correct answers. The house is too far. The house is too inconvenient. The house doesn't have enough bathrooms. And it's too expensive. The apartment is not new enough. There aren't enough bedrooms in the apartment. The apartment is too cramped. And there isn't enough parking in the apartment. Now, take a couple of seconds to analyze this picture. What can you see in this picture? If you notice, there are 3 different people in 3 different boxes. The boxes have numbers: 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and each person has different characteristics. The lady is wearing sunglasses and apparently she's reading. The boy to the left is checking his cell phone or listening to music. But the boy in the box in the middle up, he's working in his computer. Do you know what this picture is? Well, this is a capsule hotel. Now let's work with listening number 5 in your student's book. This is about capsule hotels in Japan.
Page 18, Exercise 5. Listening. A Home Away from Home. Part A. Listen to Josh describe a capsule hotel. Check true or false for each statement.
Welcome to the program, A Home Away from Home. Our guest tonight is Josh Phillips from Tennessee. Josh, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
Well, at the moment, I'm working as an English teacher in Tokyo, Japan. Tokyo is an exciting city, but sometimes it feels too big. It can take about an hour to go from one part of the city to another. When I don't feel like going all the way home, I sometimes stay in a capsule hotel.
A capsule hotel? Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, it's a hotel with lots of small rooms. Actually, they're not really rooms. They're spaces that are 2 meters by 1 meter and only a meter high, so they're very cramped. But the hotel is just as convenient as a regular hotel and not as expensive.
And what's inside each little room, or should I say each space?
Well, inside every capsule there's a mattress, a TV.
A TV? Really?
Yeah, and a reading light, a radio, and an alarm clock. The hotel also has lockers for your personal belongings.
Interesting. So, what kind of people stay in a capsule hotel?
Well, probably people like me. People who miss the last train home or don't want to go all the way home. Sometimes you're just too busy and tired, especially if you have to work early the next morning.
Interesting. So, would you recommend a capsule hotel to other people?
Sure, the rooms are small, but you get used to it. But I wouldn't recommend a capsule hotel to people who can't relax in small, cramped spaces. There just isn't enough space.
Page 18. Exercise 5. Part B. Listen again. For the false statements, write the correct information.
Welcome to the program, A Home Away from Home. Our guest tonight is Josh Phillips from Tennessee. Josh, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
Well, at the moment, I'm working as an English teacher in Tokyo, Japan. Tokyo is an exciting city, but sometimes it feels too big. It can take about an hour to go from one part of the city to another. When I don't feel like going all the way home, I sometimes stay in a capsule hotel.
A capsule hotel? Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, it's a hotel with lots of small rooms. Actually, they're not really rooms. They're spaces that are 2 meters by 1 meter and only a meter high, so they're very cramped. But the hotel is just as convenient as a regular hotel and not as expensive.
And what's inside each little room, or should I say each space?
Well, inside every capsule there's a mattress, a TV.
A TV? Really?
Yeah, and a reading light, a radio, and an alarm clock. The hotel also has lockers for your personal belongings.
Interesting. So, what kind of people stay in a capsule hotel?
Well, probably people like me. People who miss the last train home or don't want to go all the way home. Sometimes you're just too busy and tired, especially if you have to work early the next morning.
Interesting. So, would you recommend a capsule hotel to other people?
Sure, the rooms are small, but you get used to it. But I wouldn't recommend a capsule hotel to people who can't relax in small, cramped spaces. There just isn't enough space.
Now let's work with the second objective of this unit, expressing wishes in the present. Now with the COVID-19 quarantine, a lot of people have very strong wishes. Here's an image with some possible wishes that you students may have. Go back to school, see your friends again, go shopping to a mall, be able to work out at the gym, dance in a nightclub, and not have too much homework. Okay, now let's go back to your book. There's a conversation between two men expressing wishes.
Page 19. Exercise 8. Conversation. I wish I could. Part A. Listen and practice.
So, are you still living with your parents, Dylan?
Yes, I am. But sometimes I wish I had my own apartment.
Why? Don't you like living at home?
It's okay, but my parents are always asking me to come home early. I wish they'd stop worrying about me.
Yeah, parents are like that.
Plus, they don't like my friends, and they won't stop criticizing them. I wish life weren't so difficult.
So, why don't you move out?
Hey, I wish I could, but where else can I get free room and board?
Page 19. Exercise 8. Part B. Listen to the rest of the conversation. What changes would Harry like to make in his life?
Yeah, it's sometimes pretty hard to pay the rent. I'm thinking of finding a new job.
Really? What kind of job would you like?
I'm not sure, but I wish I worked somewhere else. I'm tired of this place. I need to live somewhere more exciting.
I know what you mean. Hey, maybe we could move to a different city. We could even be roommates.
Yeah, maybe.
Page 20. Exercise 9. Grammar focus. Wish. Use wish plus past tense to refer to present wishes.
I live with my parents. I wish I didn't live with my parents. I wish I had my own apartment.
Life is difficult. I wish it were easier. I wish it weren't so difficult.
I can't move out. I wish I could move out.
My parents won't stop worrying about me. I wish they would stop worrying about me.
Now let's work with the exercise in your book. Read these other comments that Dylan makes. Then rewrite the sentences using wish. Different answers may be possible, so take a couple of minutes and pause this video to answer in your book. Here are some possible answers. 3. I wish my classes weren't so boring. 4. I wish I were on vacation now. 5. We wish we could afford a bigger house. 6. I wish they would stop making noise. 7. Harry wishes he liked his job. Now let's go back again to the image with the student's wishes. In your notebook, write statements with each wish in the picture. Use the first person. I wish. And here are the possible answers. I wish I went back to school. I wish I saw my friends again. I wish I went shopping to a mall. I wish I could work out at the gym. I wish I danced in a nightclub. I wish I didn't have too much homework. Now let's work with the reading number 12. Exercise A. Skim the article. Read only the first lines of each paragraph to get the principal idea. Which of these sentences is true? Boyle decided that a life without money was impossible to live, or Boyle wanted to give people the chance to live a different lifestyle. Pause this video and read the text in your book, please. If you read the article, Boyle wanted to give people the chance to live a different style. Now, read the text again, this time more carefully, and answer the activities B and C in your book. Again, pause this video and work in your book, please. Here are the answers. In exercise B, number 1, before the experiment, Mark Boyle was good at his job. Number 2, Boyle thought that people spent too much money. Number 3, Boyle worked on a farm, so he didn't have to pay rent. 4, Boyle made cleaning products from things he found in the forest. And 5, generally, Boyle felt better after living without money. Exercise C. Paragraph C describes a big change that happened in the person's life. Paragraph D describes the way the person's everyday habits changed. Paragraph A asks a question to make the reader think about the topic. Paragraph B gives general information about the past of the main person in the story. And paragraph E explains how the person felt about the whole experiment. Check and compare your answers. Remember, to end this unit, answer the Grammar Plus of Unit 3 on page 134 in your student's book and the workbook of Unit 3. Good luck, everybody.